dalyvių, taip pat turim mūsų viešnią jau iš Kanados, tai aš tada labai trumpą įžangą. Pabandysiu pati save pasididinti, kad matyčiau labiau, nelabai man čia pavyksta, tiek to. Kągi, dar kartelį sveikinu su visais mūsų renginyje, tai yra unikalus renginys apie Kanadą, pirmą kartą tokį organizuojam Lietuvoje ir tikiuosi, kad jums bus labai įdomu, nes pakvietėm įdomius 4 svečius ir griausime mitus per šitą renginį apie studijas Kanadoje. Nuostabi šalis, nuostabi kryptis, tikrai puikia alternatyva Europai, gal netgi dažnai ir JAV, tai manau, kad mažai apie tą Kanadą žinom. Tai šiandien tikiuosi, kad sužinosim daug ir tikrai norėsit tenai studijuoti. Taigi, mintis tokia, kad mes turime šiandien 4 svečius, kiekvienam svečiui suteikiam po 20 minučių pristatyti savo mokymo įstaigą. Aš moderuosiu visus susitikimus, mano vardas Eglė Kesilienė, aš esu AMES Education vadovė ir taip pat esu sertifikuota studijų Kanadoje konsultantė, kaip ir mano AMES Education likusi komandos dalis, tikrai puikus konsultantai, Ingrida, Rasa, Greta, Renata, taip kad visi čia pasijungia, matosi. Ką mes dar šiandien turim? Tai skelbėme savo Facebook paskyroje labai fainą konkursą ir laimėtojas gaus va šitą gražų, bandau parodyti, klevų sirupą, kurį įsteigė tą prizą Kanados ambasada ir mes su džiaugsmu pasidalinsim po renginio mūsų Facebook paskyroje. Taip pat turime 3 labai dailius Edu Canada prizus, taip pat gertuves, firminės gertuves, kaip čia galvoju parodyti, matosi. Labai dailios karštam šaltam gėrimui, kaip tik dar tikrai visiems aktualu laukia pasivaikštant. Šitas gertuves įteiksim tiem, kurie bus aktyviausi ir užduos įdomiausius klausimus po kiekvieno pranešėjo. Taigi mintis, vėlgi grįžtu prie tvarkos, pradėsim mūsų prezentacijas, prezentacijai skiriam 20 minučių ir apie 10 minučių klausimam ir atsakymam. Labai prašau klausimus rašyti į chatą, bus patogu ir jum ir mum, greičiau viską darysim ir galėsim operatyviai atsakyti klausimus. Klausimus, jeigu nedrįstat užduoti anglų kalbą, klauskit lietuvių kalbą, aš taip pat persijungsiu ir versiu pagal situaciją. Bet aišku, raginu nebijoti ir kalbėti angliškai kaip galima daugiau. Taip pat visiems čia dalyvaujantiem po renginio pasiūlysime tokį spec pasiūlymą, 30 minučių nemokamos konsultacijos su mūsų studijų užsienį kvalifikuotais konsultantais apie studijas Kanadoje. Taip kad labai raginsiu pasinaudoti ir gausite šitą kvietimą į savo elektroninio pašto dėžutės. Taigi, pirmas mitas ir pirmoji mūsų viešnia. Tai pirmą mitą, kurį griausim, kad stojant į Kanados universitetus, ne tik, kad pati paraiška sudėtinga, bet dar reikia pateikti ir SAT egzamino rezultatą. Tai yra standartizuotas egzaminas, kurį laiko didžioji dalis Šiaurės Amerikos ir pasaulio moksleivių. Šitą mitą mums sugriaus šiandien St. Francis Xavier universiteto atstovė. Universitetas randasi Naujosios Škotijos provincijoje. Tikrai labai graži gamta. Tai yra vienas seniausių ir vienas labiausiai prestižinių universitetų Kanadoje. Tai labai džiaugiamės, kad šiandien turime su mumis Larissa. Larissa, I've just introduced you briefly how beautiful your university is. I've never visited it myself, but I hope one day. Welcome. Hi. How are you?
Good, thank you. Thank you so much for the wonderful introduction.
Sure. So the audience is yours. Please feel free to share your screen and the presentation, and off we go.
All right, thank you so much. And hello, everyone. It's great to see so many people are here to learn more about Canadian education. And I was thrilled to see that you had maple syrup, or as we like to call it, liquid gold. This is the time of year in Canada where we're making maple syrup, where it's cold at night and warm during the day. And so I hope you have the opportunity to come and study in Canada and hopefully experience something very Canadian, like going to the maple syrup farm and seeing how it's all made, because it's a really interesting experience. you would all be very welcome to come and study in Canada. And I want to let you know above anything else that when you come to Canada, you will receive a great quality education. We're very lucky in Canada that all of the public universities and colleges are of the highest quality, and we are checked by our government to make sure that our quality is very high. So as long as you're studying with public universities or colleges, you're going to receive a great education. What I encourage you to think about as you go through the presentations of the day is what kind of experience you would like to have as you're studying. Once you figure out the program you're interested in, think to yourself, do you want to live in a big city or a smaller town? Do you want to go to a big university where you're in class with hundreds of people? Or do you want to go to a smaller university where maybe there's only 30 people in the class? It's a very different experience either way. So we'll start by, I'm going to share with you some information about my university. Egla, can you confirm that you can see this?
Yes, perfectly well. Everything perfectly fine.
All right. So my university is called St. Francis Xavier University, or St. FX, as we like to call it. We're located on the east coast of Canada in a town called Antigonish, which is a weird sounding name. It's a very ancient name. And the town has about 4,500 people. And then the university has about 4,500 people. And if you're trying to find us on a map, we are located 2 hours from the major city of Halifax. And we're right on the ocean, as you can see from this picture. We are considered a small university in Canada, and we are primarily undergraduate with some graduate studies as well, which we'll talk a little bit more about the academic offerings at St. FX. We're in a small, comfortable town. It's very easy to get around. We have a bus that kind of goes around town a couple of times a day, but for the most part, you're going to be able to walk everywhere you want to go. Because we are a small university, our class sizes are smaller. So on average, 34 students per class. And it just means that you're going to engage with what you're learning in a very different way. Your professors are going to know you, and you're going to know your professors. The way that I say the word engage, it's how you learn. So it's not like my university experience where I sat in a class with hundreds of people and then I went to the library and I read for hours and hours until I fell asleep. You're going to talk about what it is that you're learning. You're going to discuss it. You're going to argue about it and really be able to think critically about it. And that's one of the things that our university is known for, is graduating students who can think critically. It's something that employers look for in Canada. They say, we can teach people how to do the job, but we need people who can think first. And that's what we're known for. We're also known for professors knowing your name, which again is something very different. My 4 years of university, I never spoke to a professor once. Here, your professors are going to know all about you. So our academics are split into 4 main faculties of arts, science, our School of Business, and our Faculty of Education. And then we have a couple of programs that are cross-listed, which we'll talk about more. We also have first year experiences where you take all the same classes with all the same people. And these are great if you're not sure what you want to study, but you want to have exposures to some broad topics. So humanities or our social justice colloquium, you can choose either of those. And then in your subsequent years, you can start to specialize. So in our Faculty of Arts, we have many of the traditional programs like history or sociology or political science. We also have a fantastic public policy and governance program. We are known in our institution for graduating people who go on to become leaders in politics. Our Schwartz School of Business has many of the traditional programs like accounting, finance, marketing, international business. It's named after Gerald Schwartz, who is one of Canada's most successful business people. He likes to buy and sell airlines because, who wouldn't want to do that? Our Faculty of Science offers many of the traditional programs like biology, chemistry, or physics. We also have human nutrition, human kinetics, or aquatic resources because we are right on the ocean. We have a couple of cross-listed programs that are really interesting, like health. So it's cross-listed between arts and science. So you learn the science part of health, which is like the biomedical, how the body works. But then you also learn the art side of it. So what is it within our societies or within our communities that impacts our health? And you start with a foundational first year, and then you go on to specialize based on what you're interested in. And this sets you up really well for medical school if that's something that you want to pursue after you graduate. Same idea with climate and the environment. So you'll go out and learn how to do soil samples or test the water, but then you're also going to learn how our communities impact the climate and perhaps come up with solutions of how we can have a more positive impact. In our graduate programs, we have a Bachelor of Education. So you have to have completed an undergraduate degree first, and then you do 2 more years in order to train to become a teacher. We also have a Master's of Applied Computer Science, which is a course-based master's, which means you would not have a thesis to write, and it's 2 years in length. And then we have 2 post-baccalaureate diploma programs, one in artificial intelligence and one in enterprise systems. So one of the most famous graduates of our university is Mr. Brian Mulroney, who is the 18th Prime Minister of Canada. And he had such a profound experience at St. FX that in his later years, he wanted to give back to the university. So he called up his buddies and said, hey, let's do something special. So they raised, $100 million, and they put up this beautiful new building for students to study in with lots of scholarships attached to it. So we talked earlier about the experience that you have when you go to university. While we are a small university, everything you need is on our campus. 90% of our students will live on campus, 1 in 4 will work on campus. And then we have all kinds of supports on campus to help you, as well as opportunities to have fun and learn outside of the classroom. So we have a full health and counseling center with doctors and nurses. We have over 100 clubs and societies, a student success center that will help students with their academics, an incredible sports complex with a pool, a skating rink, a dance studio, and a fully equipped gym. Art gallery, live theater, Starbucks, can't go wrong. Like I said, 90% of our first year students will live on campus, and the accommodations are pretty nice. And it's really a great opportunity for international students who arrive from a different country, and you walk into an immediate community. You don't have to go out and try to make friends. They are there ready and waiting for you. I'll talk a little bit about English requirements. We do require English, so an IELTS score of 6.5 with no band less than 6.0. But let's talk a little bit more about admissions criteria. So for our undergraduate programs, we are going to look at your grades from your last year of high school. In Canada, we don't use SATs or standard academic testing, I think it's called, where students have to write a big test, and based on their score, they'll be eligible to get into university. We don't use SATs in Canada. It was determined long ago that that is not a great way to test if a student is going to be good at university or college. There's lots of anxiety around writing tests, and some students, when they sit down to a test, their mind goes blank. So we are going to base it on the best possible indicator, which is your final grade of high school. So we're going to be looking for academic preparation courses with a 70% minimum average. If you're taking AP or IB courses, you might actually be eligible to transfer credit to university. Let me flip back to important dates. For us, most important date when you're thinking in the future for applying is March 1st. If you apply by March 1st, You will be eligible for scholarships if you meet the requirements. The last day to apply for September is May 30th, but think March 1st if you're planning ahead. So as you're making those plans, it's important to know what the costs are. Studying abroad is always something expensive, and for us, between tuition and fees, it's about $21,000 Canadian. And then if you add in residence and a meal plan, you can start to budget about $32,000 Canadian each year. Now, if you've done well in your high school, you may be eligible for scholarships. We have entrance scholarships that range between $5,000 and $12,000, which gets paid out over 4 years as long as you maintain your average. Oops, sorry, zipped ahead there. We also have major scholarships that are between $24,000 and $32,000. And I've identified the Schwartz School of Business scholarships. So any of the students who are interested in studying business, if you have a strong average and you can demonstrate that you have leadership skills, you may qualify for the $32,000 scholarship. And we actually have 14 of those. So it's really worth your while to put in the application. I always tell students if we have 100 international students in our School of Business and they're spread out over 4 years, that means there's 25 students in the first year and 14 scholarships. So those are pretty good odds. Every graduate of St. FX in their final term will receive an X-ring, and this is a very iconic symbol in Canada. That we have 8 sitting members of Parliament who wear the X-ring, and apparently it's the 3rd most recognizable ring in Canada. And there's this fantastic ceremony that's very Harry Potter that goes along with the X-ring, and it's a lot of fun. Students look forward to the X-ring ceremony every year. That's held on December 3rd. So as you're making your considerations, just know at our university, you'll receive a quality experience. Your professors are going to know you. It's a residential campus, so you get that true university experience. Lots of support for all students, but particularly for international students. Employers like to recruit from our university because of how we teach, and you get the world famous X-ring. I'm just going to zip through some pictures since you can't be here to give you an idea of what life at St. FX could look like for you. That's our library, gorgeous building, lots of space on campus. We do get snow. That's our School of Business, professors working with students, doing research, lots of school spirit. You might want to paint yourself blue to show your school spirit. Beautiful environment. We're right on the ocean, and it is a spectacular place to live. This is our meal hall. Again, there's a lot of Harry Potter at our campus. That's our Starbucks. Students going into the X-ring ceremony with their robes and candles. And a quick shot of this is just outside of our campus in our community. All right, I am going to turn off my content sharing. See. Am I back? Oh, you're on mute.
This is great timing. Thank you so much, Larissa. Okay, so I'll encourage now our attendees, to ask questions. Don't forget that we have this lovely branded, where is it? It's somewhere here. It's difficult. Okay. Anyway, lovely branded bottle. Here we go. Okay. Okay, let me read that quickly for you. I don't know if you can see, Larissa, the questions. Okay. Are there any events hosted in SCFX and or Renginys? If so, what are some of the most interesting and fascinating ones?
That's a great question. So yeah. We've been really fortunate at St. FX that we've been open all year. We've been holding face-to-face classes since September. The occurrence of the virus has been very low in our province and next to nothing in our town. And everybody has been safe and healthy. Now, we haven't been able to have our usual group gatherings, but in a normal year, many of our clubs and societies will put on activities. And so this year we adjusted and just had smaller things like we had a Diwali party and a Lunar New Year party and Black History Month celebrated with food at our meal hall. During orientation week, there is constant activities, and there's usually a really big concert where they'll bring in like a kind of famous rock band will come in and play. There's all kinds of sporting events that not just the people at the university come out to, but everybody in the community comes out to. Our office organizes activities like a trip to Halifax or a trip to the beach or going to see how maple syrup is made. So there's so much to do outside of the classroom as well. Even though we're in a small community, there's never a shortage of things to do.
Okay, we have another question by Benita Brazeite. How students manage to work and study at the same time? Is that hard? Can you work around the schedule and not damage any of those things?
That's a great question. So in Canada, international students can work 20 hours a week while they are studying full time. And then during scheduled breaks, like during our traditional summer break, you can work full time. So you are limited to 20 hours a week, which helps you to balance your schoolwork and your homework, as well as your social life. But it does take commitment and dedication to make sure that you find that balance and that you prioritize your academics over, working or having fun. You always have to recognize, okay, I have a Monday morning class. I got to get to bed Sunday night so that I can get up and be ready to go. But it's a good question. It is very manageable, especially if you're limited to 20 hours a week.
Great. Another question by Maude. Are classes more lecture-based or discussion-based?
That's a great. I love these questions. Very switched on students. It really depends on the class. Typically, your first year classes are going to be more lecture-based because they're building up your knowledge base so that you can then participate in a discussion-based kind of program or classroom. So typically first year will be a little bit more lecture style, and then from there you're going to have smaller classes where you will be discussing the material that you're learning with your professor and your fellow classmates.
Yeah, great. Is there a psychology program?
There's a fantastic psychology program with an optional concentration in forensic psychology. Very popular choice with students, particularly with international students. And now that they've got this new concentration, it's really exciting, and lots of opportunities to work with your professors on research projects.
Right. Is it possible to get a scholarship to cover full cost of tuition?
There isn't, I think there's one scholarship, so it's, the most competitive scholarship that would cover the full cost of scholarship. But international students should plan to your budget accordingly. So you typically will receive a scholarship to offset the cost, but not cover all of your cost.
Yeah, great. Which courses would you pick if you plan on learning about international relations or becoming a diplomat?
Oh, great. I would choose history, geography, political science, some economics, so that you understand the way the world works from all those different parts of society, and so how they all interact and move against each other. My undergraduate degree was in political science, and that's what it was all about, was learning everything that goes into that. I would also, if you're interested in international relations and being a diplomat, you're going to have a second language, most likely. The more languages you have, the better, not only because it makes you more employable, but it transforms the way your brain works, that you're able to think about things from a different perspective when you learn it in a different language. And yeah, so a language, and then consider doing an exchange program where you go and study somewhere else in the world for a term or two, so that again, you have more and more international experience.
Right, wonderful. Another question, is there a music program? And at the same time, one more, what about arts program?
Right, great. So we have a music program. It is instrument-based and it's focused on jazz. So if you are interested in learning more about jazz, part of your application would be submitting a video of you playing whatever your instrument is to show what your skill level is. And we do have a fine arts program. It's a lot based in art history, so understanding where art has evolved from and how that will influence your practice.
Perfect. Okay, and is it possible to get a scholarship while doing sports? You know, that's a type of sports scholarship, I think.
Yeah, we do have some sports scholarships. Those are a bit harder to come by. So again, you would submit a video to one of the coaches. Let's say you're really good at football/soccer or maybe hockey. You would submit a skills video to the coach to say, hey, am I good enough here? And if they see something in you, they'll be like, yep, okay, let's start talking about whether you're eligible to come to the university and then start looking at scholarships.
Great. Another question, but I will rephrase it. When are the lists of those who are invited to study published? I think what Isa means is, when do the students receive their offer letters?
Typically, it's within 2 weeks of applying. So I have a great team that processes the applications, and they are able to turn around from the moment they receive the application to whether you're in or not within 2 weeks, except at the most busy time. We're just coming out of the most busy time, which is the month of March. It takes a little bit longer in March.
Okay, another great question. Are there any specific subjects that we have to take at school to get into the university? Talking specifically about psychology program.
Every program is going to have requirements. So, our science-based programs will require you to have more sciences and maths. And so on our website, you can take a look at our admissions requirements and see which one is required for which program. I wish I could tell you off the top of my head psychology, but my memory doesn't work that well.
Right. I think it's just the difference between the American, North American and European system. In Europe, they have to take certain exams to enter certain fields of study. In North America, you do liberal arts type of philosophy, right? When you follow different subjects. Okay. Another question. I'm not sure what they mean, what Monica means. Is there a legal right program? Don't know, maybe law, maybe
law. Yeah. We don't have a law program at our university. Typically, the way it works in Canada is that you do a 4-year undergraduate degree, and then you go to law school for graduate studies. So you want a degree that will set you up very, very well for legal studies, and it's something that would you would do a lot of reading and writing for. So as I said, my undergraduate degree was in political science, and I would say 80% of my classmates went on to become lawyers. So that one sets you up very well. Something like public policy and governance would also set you up very well to become a lawyer.
Wonderful. Okay, there are more questions, but I'm afraid we don't have more time. I'll encourage those who have still questions, please contact us at AMES, studytheworld@ames.lt, and we'll be happy to help you with the answers. So Larissa, now you have to tell me, which question do you think was the most challenging or interesting?
Ooh, okay. Let me just scroll up.
Which one do you remember, without looking back?
I love the question about international relations and becoming a diplomat.
Good. Okay, that was somewhere in the beginning. And yes, it's the name is quite challenging for me to pronounce, and not to make a mistake. Diao. Okay, so the branded flask, bottle goes to the person who has asked about international relations or becoming a diplomat. Thank you, Larissa.
Oh, my pleasure.
Okay, thank you very much. And now we are moving forward, and I can see, yes, we have Seneca College, which is great. And we have our partner, Svetlana. Svetlana, I can see you are logged in, right? Svetlana, can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm right here.
Wonderful. Okay, I'll make a quick introduction and then I'll switch to Lithuanian and then I'll pass the audience over to you. Okay?
Perfect.
Okay. So, antrasis mitas, kurį šiandien ketiname išsklaidyti, tai apie aukštas studijų kainas. Noriu pasakyti, kad yra atliktas mokslinis tyrimas ir rinkos tyrimas, kuris rodo, kad iš tikrųjų Kanadoje mokslų kainos po Europos yra turbūt patraukliausios lyginant visas kitas pasaulio šalis. Tai JAV, Australija ir kitas šalis. Taip kad pažiūrėsim, ką pasakys mūsų viešnia iš Seneca koledžo. Pats koledžas yra įsikūręs Toronte, turi net 8 lokacijas, tikrai labai didelė mokymo įstaiga ir specializuojasi ne tik bakalauro ir magistro programuose, bet ir tokiuose, sakyčiau, trumpesnėse diplomo studijose, kurios trunka apie 2 metus. Taigi, prieš atiduodant žodį mūsų viešniai, noriu vėl pasakyti, kad tie, kas dalyvaujate, kviečiu užduoti klausimus čate ir po 20 minučių prezentacijos vėl turėsim klausimų atsakymų sesiją, jau dabar apie Torontą ir apie Senekos koledžą. Ir kitam laimėtojui vėlgi Kanados ambasada EduCanada yra įsteigusi šitą puikų prizą, gertuvę karštam ir šaltam gėrimui. O po visų mūsų šitų prezentacijų jūs galite konsultuoti su mumis net 30 minučių nemokamai, bet susiderinus atskirai laiką elektroniniu paštu. Okay, Svetlana, I'm very happy to introduce you. I've just introduced you briefly, but we're very happy to have you from Toronto, a huge city which is far bigger than the whole of Lithuania, but that's life anyway. So Svetlana, over to you and Seneca College.
Perfect. All right. I'm going to stick to English.
Yes.
All right. So I will share my presentation quickly. Pardon. Do you guys see it?
Yes, we can see it now. You can make it full screen. Yeah, perfect. Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. So because I don't have much time, actually, I'm going to ask you to really keep me on time, okay? I will go through certain slides, and I hope you find them interesting. I didn't specifically pick particular subject matter about Seneca because I wanted to speak about things other than Seneca. Egli, please tell me the previous presentation, how much did Larissa mention about Canada? Should I skip that part? Because
well, you can, whatever you feel comfortable. You can say a few words, but not too much.
Not too
we are interested about Seneca as well.
Right. Okay. So just 2 things I want you guys to take away from what Canada is. Canada is the 2nd largest country in the world after Russia. It is a northern country and has very low population. The population of Canada is 4 people, the density, 4 people per square kilometer. For instance, in Lithuania, it's 43 people per square kilometers, just so you understand how few of us are here. Of course, Toronto is a big city, but even in the big city, you don't feel like it's a crowded city. All right, it's massive in terms of territory. It's probably bigger than the whole Lithuania, as Egli said. But the whole idea that you need to remember is that population density is very low in Canada, and therefore the education has been developed to meet that particular demographic factor. Right? This is why the college system was created 53 years ago, and it's been doing so well and recognized across the world. Now, Seneca is located in Toronto. It is the 4th largest city in North America after New York, Chicago, and Los Angeles. So again, it will give you an understanding how big the city actually is. A lot of people come from all over the world. North America typically is the land of the immigrants. It's a new world of people who come from the old world. Lithuania is definitely part of the old world. Canada specifically is definitely a country of immigrants, and Toronto is probably capital of immigrants. There are so many languages spoken on the streets, I'm sure in Lithuanian as well. So you will not be the first ones to come here, won't be the last ones, and I'm sure you'll find a cozy place for yourselves as well. The fact that we are located in Toronto is good for those of you who decide to come, because just as Larissa was saying, it doesn't matter how small the town is, there's always something to do. It's absolutely true. She is correct. It's just a little more busy in the biggest city, and it creates the opportunities, of course, as well. So Toronto hosts over 800,000 businesses. It's consists 18.5% of Canadian gross product. So you can imagine, again, just think of how massive this particular town is. And of course, we have large corporations represented here as well, from different industries, IT, finance, pharmaceutical, and so on and so forth. Of course, entertainment is very, very well represented, not just in Toronto, but in Canada, of course, Vancouver and places like that. Hollywood loves Canada. The US typically loves Canada because we're a safe country. Large businesses bring their corporate offices here gladly, to Toronto specifically as well, because they save a lot of money on the fact that they don't have to buy medical insurance for their employees. As you know, in the US, there is no public healthcare. It's private healthcare. Therefore, one of the largest expenses for any business is medical insurance for their employees. In Canada, they don't have to do that because everybody's covered under the universal healthcare here in Canada. But also the important fact why big corporations love opening in offices here and operations in Canada, specifically in Toronto as well, is because they know that they will find qualified people to work for them very quickly. Specifically, again, because of the college system as well. Within 2 or 3 years, they know that they can have professionals graduating with very contemporary, very up-to-date, very relative background in education and with work experience that they can hire and be successful. So all those aspects make Toronto very approachable to international business. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the labor market in Canada, specifically in Ontario. So because we're in Toronto, because we're located in Ontario, and because COVID has done a number on all of us, as you can imagine, I wanted to show this little stat chart so that just like a snapshot of what we're looking at. The population of Ontario right now, you can see it, the adult population. So this is the people who are eligible to work, who can actually be in the workforce. So they're age 16 to 64. It's just under 10 million people. 7.3 million of them are employed currently. These are the numbers from December of 2020. So this is at the end of COVID year, and I wanted to make sure that we reflect that. Out of those 7.3 million people in Ontario are working, 83% of them working full-time. That's very important because one thing is to be employed and the other thing is to be employed full-time. Why am I telling you this? I'm telling you this because when you come to study, you want to get a job, right? We study not just because it's interesting, which it is, but we study in order to get a job after. So healthy employment market is very important, and you have to consider that when you pick a destination for your education and future work. Canada definitely has one of the most productive labor forces and labor demands, for sure. So remember that density, 4 people per square kilometer versus 43 comparing to Lithuania. That's a direct competition for a job. All right, so keep that in mind. This is what makes Canada, among other things, a top destination for students currently in the world. These are about 2 months old. These are the top requested skills in Canada. You won't see many surprises here. The whole world knows that Canada needs IT staff, IT people. I mean, this is the top profession around the world. We are in 21st century, but even historically, we know that even 20 years ago, the special visa channels starting to open for Canada, specifically for people with IT background, and that has not changed. So you can see that computer programming and languages of coding are among the most popular ones requested by the job market here in Canada. You can also see number 5, which is very interesting. Well, I found it very interesting, is a skill of presentation. Basically, it's what I'm doing right now. Skill of presentation is much needed because a lot of business right now, we're working from home. Even prior to that, in any profession, be it finance, accounting, biotechnology, sales, you name it, you need to be able to present what it is you're working on, what it is that you want, what it is what you've done, and so on and so forth. The laptop and the camera, this is us out there. It's also a soft skill. What's soft skill? Soft skill is something that you can learn from experience, from trying it, from being exposed to. All right. So all of you guys, keep doing presentations. Sit your family up and do them a presentation about how I want to propose our summer should go, where we should go, why we should go there, or whatever. Pick a topic. If you're not doing those presentations at school regularly, if you don't have an opportunity to practice doing the presentations, building the decks, making them interesting, start practicing. As you can see, it's number 5. It's right between the Python and query languages, SQL. You can imagine how important this is, all right? Certificates, requested certificates. Registered nurse is far ahead of everybody else. This is one of the reasons why it's so difficult to get into medical field in Canada right away. Just keep that in mind. There is enough Canadians that want to go through that particular occupation. Very few seats are left in our educational institutions for international students, just so you understand why. And top program fields, of course, there we go, computer science, engineering. Canada is a young country. People are coming. We keep growing. We need bridges. We need roads. We need office buildings. We need apartment buildings, and so on and so forth. It never stops. In Toronto, there is a saying that there are 2 seasons in Toronto. It's construction and winter. And it's no joke. It really is like that. So I think this would be a useful thing for you to understand what Canada job market is all about. Egli, I can share this in the chat after, the link to this particular quiz. This quiz is done by the province of Ontario for your potential career here in Ontario. I suggest you take it just for the hell of it. Why not? You will see if you already have possess some qualities that potentially could grant you some sort of career opportunities, or what you need to get in order to get there. It's just an interesting eye into the Ontario labor market. So I suggest you guys take it because it costs you nothing, but it could open you some interesting opportunities in terms of where should I look in terms of a career, and therefore where I'm going to go studying. Another thing you need to consider when you pick your school, your career, is how global it is, right? Especially now. I mean, we live in the 21st century for now 20 years, but really it was COVID that kicked us all into gear to explore more of a technology, to maybe forget about borders, to a degree where they used to be present in our lives. That includes supply chain management, that includes taxation laws, labor laws, and so on and so forth. The business, the life has become even more rapidly global than it used to be. So when you pick your career, when you pick your school, if applicable, make sure there is an aspect of global, international approach to your education path. So that's important. These are some of our industry partners. I picked the biggest logos. Definitely corporations and firms and companies that work across the world and know a thing or two about being a global. They do have all offices in Toronto, including, and they work with Seneca very closely. Again, guys, be open-minded. But this is a small fraction of our industry partners. There are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them that we work with as an institution. Some are small, some are medium-sized businesses. By the way, small and medium-sized business is the backbone of a healthy economy. Big guys are important, but small businesses are more important. They are the actual engine of the economy. So all of that important, and we work with them closely in a way that they help us create the curriculum. They suggest new programs that come into the workforce, and therefore not enough specialists are being taught, being made. They come to us, this industry partners. They provide funding, equipment. They provide co-op opportunities, internships. Their executive managers may be our professors. So on and so forth. There is a lot of ways that industry partners work with us, and we work with them. So why it's important, I need you to understand what Canadian education is. It's specifically colleges. It's very much works with hand in hand with the industry and labor market. It is not beneficial for Canadian college to give somebody an education that is useless on the job market. It's too few of us here for us to have adult population without their work. So that's why it's really built the way it is. Universities have always been a part of education system in Canada. You just had a fantastic presentation from Larissa. She represents one of the great universities out there. U of T is, of course, the top university in Canada. It's number 3 in global ranking in the world, which is very strong. UBC, University of British Columbia, and McGill universities are also within top 100 universities in the world. That's very strong. Again, remember how small population-wise Canada actually is. So that is an indication of how amazing Canadian higher education is. The Ontario alone in the year of 2021-22 will be spending over 36 billion Canadian dollars on education sector alone. Again, just so you understand how valuable and valid and seriously Canadians take the education here.
You still have 5 more minutes, for the presentation, just so that you know.
All right. So the part about why college, why university, I'm sure there will be a lot of questions afterwards. You can maybe ask me to zoom in on these particular details. I'll skip that. Just keep in mind, you can always go from college to university, but in between, you're going to be building a career too. All right. So the internship is definitely part of the studying at college. Seneca is one of the largest ones in Canada. Maybe this is why I was invited to speak here, because we are big, and I can speak on behalf of many colleges to let you know what it is to be a college student in Canada. Please keep in mind, this is a higher education. You have to finish your high school before you can apply to college. It's not secondary education. So I'll skip that. I just wanted to talk about a couple of things, these pathways. Guys, for those of you who want to end up in the top university of Canada, one of the top universities in the world, being U of T or York University, one of the oldest and biggest universities in Canada, Trent, gorgeous place here in Peterborough. You can go through Seneca. If you have, if you are humanitarian kind of mind, you can go through our liberal arts diploma and then go to third year bachelor at U of T, let's say. Or if you are more scientific aligned, then you can come to our arts and science and end up in U of T finishing their astrophysics bachelor or something. So there are ways for you to get through Seneca into the top universities, or just stay with Seneca. There's lots of programs there. Mechatronics is definitely the highest employed profession right now in the world, in North America for sure. In 4 years, by the year 2025, there'll be a shortage of, I think, 300,000 jobs just in mechatronics field. We have a program, EMA, that has no competition so far. It's a great school. Again, I just want to leave you with this particular set of skills and certifications that Canadian labor market right now demands and needs and wants, so that you potentially can plan your career around there. And there it is. So Egle, I'm going to get back to you so that you monitor the questions.
Yes, absolutely. I think we have time for some 5 or 6 questions, and let's see what we have. The questions are coming. Okay. Here we go. Do I have a better chance to get in if I have some experience in international programs such as Erasmus, Euroscholar, etc., and have experience in volunteering? Or these things that do not matter really at all for Seneca?
Not just for Seneca, it does not matter for most colleges in Canada. All we want from you is your high school certificate, high school diploma with marks, and your English proficiency. Some programs that are creative, they will need portfolio or writing sample, things like that. But really, to get into university, you don't need SAT, you don't need any foundation levels, you don't need anything like that. That's what makes the system of getting into a Canadian higher education system transparent and very likable.
Okay, great. Does this university take into account the International Baccalaureate credit? I think it's IB diploma is what they mean from high school. And does the university provide internship opportunities?
Internship is definitely part of education system. I just want to get out and stop sharing the screen,
sure,
if you don't mind.
Yeah, please.
There, okay. So internships is a part of education process. The co-op is a full semester where you are working within the field of study. You're getting salary for it. It's you have to go through the interview and actually get the job after Seneca recommends you for it. If there's no opportunity for co-op, and soon all of our programs will have a full semester of co-op, at least one, then you will have field placement. So internships for sure is a part of it. There was first part of the question that I forgot. Remind me.
The IB diploma, does it give any credit? You know?
No, you're gonna have to start from scratch.
Okay, great. Because there used to be the tradition of actually allowing some students to get a credit for their IB diploma. I think some 10 years ago. No.
Yeah, it's not a present factor in Canada.
Okay. Yeah, never mind. Okay, is there an architectural degree at Seneca, BA or master's? And are there any practical exams to apply to drawing or art history exam? I'm not sure what they mean. He means whether there are any specific exams that they need to have to pass to enter architecture.
Okay, we don't have architecture at Seneca right away, I'll tell you. It's not our niche. So colleges, we all have similar programs, not in terms of curriculum necessarily, but let's say IT school, we will have it. Some other schools in the GTA will have it. We'll have a different approach to a different industry partner, so on and so forth. Business school, almost every school will have a business school. But then there are niches. For instance, architecture is not our niche. I think Humber has architecture. We do civil engineering. So no, I don't have architecture here at Seneca. The drawing exams, at least at Seneca, they will be needed for programs such as illustration and animation. So programs like that, they do require drawing, but I hope that answers your question.
Okay. What about participating in debates? Is it valued in any way in Canada? Does it help, maybe that gives any credit or something for the students when they apply?
Guys, don't aim at the credit as something you've done and it's going to be calculated towards your education. Count on this as you are going to be competing with very strong students in your classroom. So if you're going for liberal arts, poli-sci, if you aim at something with a career maybe in law, you better be strong at debates. So you're doing yourself a favor to stay competitive within the field of where you're going. But don't count on it to be a check mark for you to be on your credit score. It will help for sure. Do your best for the profession you're aiming at.
Okay, what aspects do you look for in an application? What do they need to apply?
Well, just as I already said, we need your high school transcripts and we need your English proficiency test results. And keep in mind, even if you went to IB school, you still need to submit the IELTS or TOEFL or Duolingo test because you're studying in a non-English country.
Yeah. Okay, great. What is the acceptance rate and prices? Are there any financial aid opportunities for the students at the college?
Acceptance rate is very high if you apply on time. On time, I mean, we don't have the cutoff deadlines. On time is while the seats are still available. So we suggest to apply 10 months ahead. So for instance, for those of you who are aiming at September 2022, by December, you should already have your papers submitted to us. So that's what would give you more chances of getting in. The prices depends on the program. In Canada for college, you look at basically at 15,000 Canadian dollars, 16 and so on. Some programs run more expensively. Usually those are creative programs, but they're not going to be much higher than 20,000 a year in the college. So that is something that consider. Colleges will not pay for any part of your tuition. Not in Canada. Get used to it. But plus, please keep in mind when you do your math that you compare oranges to oranges and not apples to oranges, all right? So when you hear those big words, scholarship, 50%, 20, 30, 70% scholarship, when it comes out of the US, even after all the scholarships, the price tag will still be higher than in Canada. If you compare the equally good quality education institution.
Okay, I think you've answered the next question about scholarships as well. But so just to clarify, because I'm sure most students are interested. So once again, what's the cost of tuition per year at Seneca College for tuition?
15,000.
But that's with accommodation.
No, that's tuition.
Tuition, 15,000 Canadian dollars, which is about 10,000 euros, I think.
Yeah, so if you want to be a student in Canada, a college student in Canada, you need to put together, I would say, 22,000 euros a year. That's life and study, okay? That is with condition that you will be having that part-time job. Toronto is not a cheap city, but it's definitely worth being in. So really the tag of being international student in college, you're looking at 22,000 euros per year.
Okay, thank you. There's a question about medicine, but I understand you do not run any medical, you don't have a medical school, you know, so.
We have a bachelor in nursing, but as I said, it's a very tough field to get in. You need to have a very strong profile, science background in high school, so that your biology, your chemistry, very strong. Your English is impeccable in terms of the score you're showing to us. And then you have if you get in, you absolutely do not have a luxury of failing any class. If you fail one class, you get kicked out. So we have about 5 seats in that program for a year for students. So we do have international students in there. It's just competitive.
Okay, great. Okay, now it's your turn to say which question was the most challenging or interesting, because we have to lose that lovely Edu Canada bottle. So which question do you remember?
Oh, from the ones you asked me.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, I wasn't prepared for that. Oh my goodness, I'm drawing blank. I don't know, help me out.
Never mind. I think a good question was about architecture, for example, you know, for someone to consider architecture versus civil engineering. I think that was a good one.
That was a good one. Honestly, all your questions are very on point and make sense, and I understand why you're asking them. And just be comfortable with North America. Don't be afraid of it. It seems it's far, but it's really not that far if you think about it, and it's really not that expensive. But it's so much more welcoming in terms of job markets after. You need, guys, for young people, you need jobs.
Yeah.
So come.
Another good question was about the application process. I think it was just the right one to ask.
Without that, you can't get in anywhere.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so the winner is then Lucreția Viscontaite. Wonderful. Thank you very much, Svetlana. I appreciate.
You're very welcome.
It was very useful. Brief though. I know there's so much information, but thank you. All your inputs was very, very highly appreciated. Thanks. Bye. Okay, I can see we have already our third guest, and that's Vancouver Island University, Mikhail. Mikhail, if you don't mind, I'll introduce you briefly in Lithuanian, just say a few words, okay, in case we have some attendees who do not speak that or do not understand English that well. Taigi, turim trečią mūsų svečią iš Vancouver Island University. Vancouverio kaip miesto turbūt nereikia tikrai reklamuoti, nuostabus miestas vakarų pakrantėje, labai labai gražus ir nuostabi gamta. Ir kągi, pats universitetas turi ne tik tai bakalauro, ne tik magistro, bet ir taip pat turi vidurinės mokyklos programas, labai įdomi kombinacija, sakyčiau. Taigi, taip pat atiduodu žodį mūsų svečiui, kuris yra Michailas, jisai yra koordinatorius tarptautinių programų ir vėl visus raginu užduoti klausimus čate, drąsiai klauskit, rašykit. Prizas lieka trečias, dabar bus laimėtas prizas Education Canada gertuvė. Na ir taip pat geroji žinia ta, kad tie, kurie rimtai svarstot Vancouver Island University, galėsite pateikti paraišką, 2 pirmi studentai pateikę paraišką į tą universitetą turės nuolaidą visam registracijos mokesčiui, tai apie 150 Kanados dolerių vertė, taip kad tikrai smagu. Okay, Mikhail, I've just introduced you briefly and also said that we have your generous offer of 2 registration fee waivers so that students know and apply. And at the end of your presentation, we'll have a question and answer session. And as I said, you know, we have those Edu Canada lovely, you know, branded bottles that we are going to give to someone who's asking the most interesting or challenging question.
Sounds
okay,
good.
over to you. over to you.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you very much for introducing me. And yeah, my name is Mikhail. I'm based here in Western Canada at Vancouver Island University. And without taking much of your time, let me just get straight to the point. So I'll share the screen here. 1 second. Okay, hope you can see it now.
Yes, we can see it very well.
Okay.
Full screen.
Perfect.
Perfect.
Perfect. So we are Vancouver Island University, and the first question we get, where exactly in Vancouver we are. So we're not in the city of Vancouver, but we are on the island, Vancouver Island, which actually was appearing first on the map before the city was founded. So if your dream was to live on the island, then here you have it now. You can live on Vancouver Island, and we are located in the city of Nanaimo. It's a smaller town of roughly 100,000 residents, and very close to Vancouver, where you can get by taking a plane, a float plane, or a regular flight. Maybe spend 10 minutes in the air, and you are here on the island. The huge benefit of being based on the island is that it's much cheaper to live here on the island than in the largest cities of Vancouver or Toronto, for instance. I myself moved from Toronto to Nanaimo, and I'm spending about maybe nearly 50% less than I used to when I lived in the largest city. The capital of British Columbia, Victoria, is right there on the island as well. And just overall, it's a really picturesque place, beautiful nature, and the climate as well. So here on the island, you can experience what you probably have never experienced in your life, perhaps. Whale watching, surfing, diving, well, you name it. I went on whale watching myself a few months ago. For the first time, it was really amazing. So here, even though we're surrounded by nature, we're quite a big university. We're a public university in Canada with nearly 15,000 students now, and over 2,000 of them are international students coming from over 90 countries in the world. So you will be surrounded by some other amazing students coming from other countries, from Europe, from Asia, Africa, Middle East, South America, you name it. And you've got over 120 programs to choose from. However, despite these pretty big numbers of students and programs, the classes remain small. So you won't find yourself sitting in a lecture hall surrounded by 200 students. So the classes remain quite small, of roughly 34, 35 students per class, which means you still have that nearly intimate communication with the professors, and that really speaks for the quality of education. So you will have to study, and the benefit is that you do connect quite closely to professors. And that's why one of the reasons why Vancouver Island University was nominated for a prestigious education award just a couple of years ago. Now, so I've mentioned that we're a public university, and I've mentioned that it's quite cheaper to live and study here on the island in Nanaimo rather than the largest cities. We are surrounded by beautiful nature, and we are in one of the warmest parts of Canada. Being so close to the Pacific Ocean, the climate is quite mild. So right now we're in beautiful spring. So overall, in a year, I would say average temperature is roughly 6 Celsius. Now it's 15 degrees roughly during the day, so it's really nice, and we get maybe 3 to 5 days of snow. I'm not sure how it is in Lithuania or in other Baltic countries, but yeah, here last year we got maybe 3 days of snow, and right now we have snow only in the mountains. I was thinking if I should start swimming a couple of days ago, but yeah, the water's not there quite yet. I was really bracing myself. So here at VIU, we offer quite a significant range of programs, and we are one of just a few institutions in Canada where we offer high school on campus as well. So we're quite unique in that sense. So if you're still in grade 10, let's say, or grade 9, then you can join us for grade 10, 11, 12. Complete high school on campus, get familiar with the university, with the facilities, with some professors, library, and then join us as a student. If you already passed high school, then you can start with language courses first to improve your language skills, and then select one of the academic programs, whether it's a shorter program like certificate or diploma, 4-year bachelor degree, 2-year master's, or a shorter postgraduate certificate program, let's say, which is 1 year. At the undergraduate level, we offer 4-year bachelor degree, as I've mentioned, quite a big range. It can be Bachelor of Arts, where the first year is general, but then you choose, starting from the second year, one of your specializations. It can be English, criminology, design, you name it. It can be major and minor, or it can be honors. So you got quite a bit of flexibility there. Then you have Bachelor of Science, with most popular programs would be Bachelor of Computer Science or Engineering Transfer Diploma, for instance. And obviously, we offer 2-year diplomas as well, some shorter programs, which still qualify you for a 3-year post-graduation work permit once you graduate. In order to get admitted into most of those programs, you need to present us a high school diploma, show that you've completed your grade 12. Some of the programs may have additional requirements, let's say like math at grade 12 or grade 11, and then you need to submit a language test. We accept quite a few language tests, internationally recognized tests. If it's IELTS, then you need to show 6.5 overall. No band lower than 6. TOEFL is accepted as well. We used to accept Duolingo, quite a popular online test. We don't do it now, so it's no good for direct admission. But if you're planning to take language test here at VIU, then you can submit Duolingo so that we can determine your level, and then you will be accepted conditionally. So you'll complete ESL course, language course, plus a degree after language course has been completed. If you studied in the international school under, let's say, American or British or Canadian curricula, then if you've completed your English at grade 12, then no need for you to take a language test. So these are the programs I've mentioned, some of them within arts, within design, education, science, business. Obviously, there are 7 specializations in business, where the first year is general, then you qualify to become an accountant, marketing person, professional, one of those. Hospitality is one of the unique programs to our university. It can be diploma, it can be degree. And I want to mention that where we are based in Western Canada, it's a province of British Columbia. Hospitality is really a big draw for students because of the tourism industry, quite developed in our province. Despite the COVID, we still go strong here, and our students find employment in this particular field very quickly. At the graduate level, less number of programs, but still a good selection. MBA is the most popular program we offer. It's a 2-year program, quite intense. So it's a cohort-based program. So you study with the same group of students you begin with throughout 2 years. There are 3 semesters in a year, spring, summer, and fall. So it's very intense, but that's why you become a real professional in business upon your graduation. And some other programs within education, whether it's Master of Education and Educational Leadership or Special Education, and then some shorter programs as well in business or in project management. So speaking of MBA, one of the benefits is that there is no GMAT required for this program. If you're doing your research for MBA, probably you're familiar with GMAT. It's quite a difficult test, so we don't ask for it. What we do ask is the completed bachelor degree, at least 1 year of work experience, and 2 to 3 references. The cost of the entire program is 48,000 Canadian dollars. That's for 2 years, so it will be 24,000 per year, which is quite competitive. Overall, the costs here at VIU are quite competitive compared to other public institutions in Canada. Considering that we are based right on the ocean, we do offer some ocean-related programs, such as this one, post-degree diploma in fisheries and aquaculture. So if you had a passion for, let's say, forestry, aquaculture, preservation of natural resources, or research in that field, then here you go. So you've got some unique programs right at VIU. The costs are very competitive as well, as you can see here, just 16,500 Canadian dollars for 1-year program. And I'm not sure if that topic has been touched before or not, but if you study for 1 year in Canada, then you are able to apply for 1 year post-graduation work permit. So you can stay if you want in Canada for 1 more year and work. If you study for 2 years, then you may qualify for up to 3-year-long postgraduate work permit. Speaking of the language center, we do have it right on campus. It's based in the same building where I am. And right now we offer the classes online, but we are planning to return to face-to-face learning on campus this fall. And these are 6 levels which we offer at the Language Center. So if you IELTS, let's say not at 6.5 for the postgraduate programs or at 7.0, I mean 7.0 for postgraduate or 6.5 for undergraduate programs, then you can join our Language Center and start with the ESL courses. In order to begin at level 1, you need your IELTS at roughly 4.0 level. So not 0 quite, but quite basic level, and you'll be okay. But it's not just learning the language, it's all the fun activities as well. Now they're kind of on pause during COVID, but yeah, it's we're planning to be face-to-face with all the fun activities this September. Well, we don't really have that much snow. I believe it's in Whistler, somewhere there where you see those tall mountains, one of the world-class resorts on the mainland. But normally, yeah, we don't have that much snow. But we've got lots of parks, lots of nature. I was walking in downtown Nanaimo last week. I just saw sea otters there, and we got lots of bunnies on campus who just run to you. So yeah, eagles flying. They don't eat the bunnies though. Okay, now shorter programs. So we don't offer them this summer, but next summer for sure. So if you're a parent, let's say you have a child who wants to just to experience Canada a bit and see what it has to offer before fully committing to the 4 years bachelor degree, then yeah, it's possible to travel to Canada just for a few weeks, have a summer camp spent here, learn the language, meet new friends, see for yourself if it's for you or not, and then perhaps join us for high school or a first year bachelor degree. We do have Faculty of International Education right on campus. We're quite unique in that sense as well. And that's a one-stop shop for all your needs, whether it's questions in terms of finding the housing or academic support, immigration support, even psychological counseling. We offer all that in buildings specifically dedicated to international students. Speaking of housing, we offer 3 options. It can be on-campus residence. You can see one of the pictures here on the left side. I live there myself. It's quite cozy. These are not huge dorms, as you may kind of picture. These are townhouse style 2 or 3-story buildings right on campus. So if you walk like those 2 students do, you'll reach your buildings where you study maybe within 30 seconds. Homestay is another option. Mostly it's selected by those who come for shorter programs like or exchange year, but we even have postgraduate students staying with Canadian families. It's a great way to learn Canadian culture and blend in. And off-campus housing is an option as well. And we help you find off-campus housing. Considering that we're a smaller city, even if you live off campus, everything is near still. You can reach campus within maybe 15 minutes if you take a bus or if you drive, so you don't need to spend an hour sitting in traffic or taking metro, waking up 5 in the morning just to make it to the class by 8. So everything is near, and I just love that. Yeah, no more Toronto style traffic. If you are big on sports, then we've got varsity teams and clubs for you. It can be hockey, it can be soccer, volleyball. We do have international students on the teams as well. And you can even submit your videos if you have them prior to joining us on campus, and then you might get selected for one of the teams before your first day at the university. We do scholarships as well, including sports scholarship. We do not offer them this year due to COVID, but we're planning to bring them back. So perhaps next year we'll have them again. But even if you don't have the scholarship, tuition fees are quite attractive. So they're listed here in Canadian dollars. So Canadian dollar is maybe roughly 25% cheaper than American dollar. So if you are an undergraduate student, then a year of tuition would roughly be 17,500 Canadian dollars. That's tuition. Accommodation is roughly, I would say, $900 a month if you live on campus. If you live off campus, then it can be a bit more expensive or cheaper, and other fees you can see here. So per year, it's roughly 36,000 Canadian dollars, roughly. The postgraduate level programs, the fees are set. So if it's MBA, let's say it's 48,000 for 2 years. Other programs, most of the other programs are cheaper. Language courses are $5,100 per semester. that per level, which is 13 weeks. Now, how you apply? And yeah, one of the questions was, is it really difficult to submit the application to an institution? Should they start thinking 2 years in advance or not? And yeah, it's quite easy. All you do is either you contact an agency like this one, AMIS, or you can check it for yourself. Everything's listed on our website. It's quite easy. Go online, check the program dedicated page on our website. So each of the programs has its own page. Review the admission requirements and submit the application online. It's 150 Canadian dollars. Once you submit the application, and I'll show you how to do it in a minute, you will hear back within 2 weeks, roughly. So no need to wait like in the States. So sometimes you have to wait for 4 months. Here, applications for most of the programs are reviewed as they are being submitted. So the earlier you apply, the better. And let's say if you apply in September or October, you may receive the decision in 2 weeks. So by end of October, for instance. That's it for now. Let me just jump straight to the, sorry, where is this? To the application submission part. Can you see the?
We can still see your presentation. I think you have to stop sharing and
Okay.
then start sharing
Right.
again, and then you
Okay.
will. Mhm.
So I'll do that now. One
Yeah.
second. Okay.
Yeah.
So you can see the website now, I
Yes.
believe.
Yes. Perfect.
Right. So yeah, our website is short and simple, viu.ca. You can see the sturgeon swimming right there. So we've got the sturgeon center. Last time I was there at this research center, the sturgeons are really big. They're maybe 2 meters long. They just moved around, splashed the water. It felt like I took a shower. And once I was out, the deer was standing right there. So I was like, okay. Anyways, so here, this is our website, viu.ca, and you just click on the menu, start your application. And it's important to apply as an international student because we have a separate process for domestic students, which are Canadian citizen or permanent resident. So you click here, apply as an international student. And you are being taken to this page where you can review the requirements again. Let's say admission requirements, the language requirements, what tests you need to take, what the scores are. So let's say TOEFL, or IELTS. But if you're ready to submit the application, you click on apply here to VIU and click apply now. So this is the page which needs to be filled out. It takes 10 to 15 minutes. And you just start by filling up your name, first name, last name, your passport related information, and then at the program choice. If you do not have IELTS or TOEFL results which meet direct entry requirements, which is 6.5 for undergraduate, 7.0 for postgraduate programs, then you select here. Let's say, yes, I need a language course. And select the type, let's say ESL followed by academic studies, which means language course and then your bachelor degree. Decide when you start to apply. If you're not quite certain about this, it's okay. It will be corrected later by admissions. So if you, let's say, want to start with your bachelor's in September, then you can start in June with language course. And let's say 2021. We do accept applications still for some of the programs. So if you want to start studying this September, you can still apply today or tomorrow. And then click yes for university programs and choose the program on your list here. On the list. If the program is listed, it means that we do accept applications. If it's not listed, we no longer accept applications. It's that easy. Sometimes on our website, you can see that you can submit applications till end of March this year, but you can't find the program here. It means that we already accepted enough number of applications. So even though applications deadlines are not there yet, we no longer accept applications for that program. So it's better to apply early. Most of the programs start in September. Some of them start in January as well, like MBA. So it's important to check program requirements and starting dates. So we've got here bachelor programs, graduate diplomas, MBAs, all that. So let's say Bachelor of Arts. And then you attach your documents, scanned as PDF or JPEG files. So you attach your high school transcripts, your passport, language test results if you have them, yeah, supporting documents if you need those, let's say your references. If anything is missing, no worries, your application wouldn't be just declined. Our admission department will get back to you with questions or asking you to submit missing documents if you missed something. Yeah, you fill out the rest of the information and pay 150,000, well, 150 Canadian dollars application fee. But we do waive our first two application fees this time, and you submit your application. That's it.
Great. Thank you very much.
Let me just show, go back to our website for a second. And show how you can find more information about the programs. So this is our main page, homepage again. If you click on international students, then all the information you'll see will be related to international students. And here you can learn, click on the menu, future students. Scroll down, you can see programs and courses, international admissions, fees, all that. And if you click on areas of studies, then here you can go program by program and read admission requirements, see program outlines, so you'll see exact list of classes which you have to take. Let's say Bachelor of Business Administration. All the information is listed here for you. So you've got your specializations here, the program duration, 4 years. Like sometimes websites of universities are really clunky. Like it takes a year to find information you need. Here it's nicely outlined. You can read about the program outline with courses, program fees per credit or per semester. So first you'll see domestic fees and then international fees listed right below. Yeah, the application deadlines as well, start date and application deadlines. So everything is there. I hope I was still within my time.
Well, it's okay. Thank you very much, Mikhail. Okay, so another round of questions and answers. And just to remind everyone that we have number 3, the last one, branded bottle by Education Canada. Okay, here we go. We have some great questions. How easy is it to find summer jobs and other kinds of work through your institution?
Sure. So international students are able to work on campus and off campus as well if certain conditions are met. Quite a few internships are provided to international students. So I'll presume that we are back to face-to-face learning as we expect this fall. During COVID, it could be a bit tricky, but yeah, it's we don't guarantee it, but it's very easy. It can be on campus, it can be off campus. Yeah, hundreds of opportunities, not as many as if you were in Toronto, let's say, but yeah, very easy. And I do have a couple of interns working with me right now remotely, so I never saw them face to face, but they still work on some projects with me, so it's quite easy, I would say. Some of the programs we offer are co-op, so you do have to practice your skills, but that would be program related work and paid as well. But if you do not have co-op, then you can have an yeah, part-time work. I forget the minimum wage, but it's roughly 15. Yeah, I forget, but it is in BC. It's I think it's $15 or something. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Another question by Maude. Do we need prior knowledge in major or minor we plan on taking, such as marketing, communications, or film studies?
No. If you apply for undergraduate program, then to get admitted into year 1, you just need to graduate from high school, and all you need sometimes for some of the programs is the specific classes which you need to show at grade 12 or 11, which is math. So if you apply for business programs, then you need to show that you have math at grade 12. That's it.
Perfect. Now, hi, please, could you tell me more about art and design program? For instance, do students have to buy art mediums?
To buy what, sorry?
I think the things they need for art classes. That's what they need.
Well, yeah, we do have a couple of programs. We have a Bachelor of Arts in Interior Design and Graphic Design, and you do need to buy your supplies. They're being sold on VIU campus. So we do have a store I go there sometimes as well. All you need is there in the store. So the canvas, the paints or whatever you need is being sold right there.
Yeah. Normally students buy them, right? All the
Right.
supplies for their class.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there a law program? Also, what about working when studying? I think you've answered this one. So what about the law program?
Yeah, we don't offer the law-related programs, but normally your pathway to law would be through Bachelor of Political Science. We do offer that program. Or let's say Bachelor of Arts in History. So normally what students do, they complete a 4-year bachelor degree, and then they take the certain number of additional tests, and they get accepted into law programs. But yeah, we don't offer that specific one.
Okay, and we have the last question, which is there somewhere to go? I like the wording. When school gets too annoying.
Yeah, that's probably the best
place to
question right
relax?
there. Let's say place to relax. Definitely. I do that sometimes myself. So
Really?
yeah. Well, yeah. Vancouver Island University is located on the hill, on top of the hill, from where you can see the downtown Nanaimo, and then you can see the ocean a bit, and then you can see mainland on the horizon. So if you, let's say, on campus waiting for the bus to take you back to residences or somewhere, you can just see the snow-covered mountains on the mainland, which just looks beautiful, especially during sunset. If school gets too much, then there are lots of parks. I've been here for a year and a half. I have not seen all the parks yet. We have where I live, which is 20 minutes from campus. I have 2 huge parks with waterfalls right there. So it's just 10-minute walk. So lots of parks, busier ones, slower ones. You can do mountain biking, you can do hiking, walking, see wildlife. So lots of places to where you can just stay in peace and enjoy beautiful clean nature if you want to. If you are more into sports, lots of offers as well. So yeah, definitely. But yeah, we're not living in the woods, so we've got restaurants, we've got really beautiful downtown. It's not as historic as in Europe, but yeah, nice small. You have that Europe-like feeling there. So yeah, lots of small unique shops as well.
Right. There is one more question, but I think we've answered it in previous sessions. What program would you recommend to study for someone who wants to become an ambassador or a politician, I guess?
Yeah, it would be a Bachelor of Political Science. I think would be the best choice. It's a 4-year program. We do accept applications still.
Okay, now, Mihail, it's your turn to choose the best question. What do you think was the best question or the most challenging one to answer?
Yeah, I think the one asked by Benita. I think the about being annoyed sometimes because we do all get
Right.
that
I
feeling.
think it's a good question. Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much. So the winner is of the 3rd bottle, branded bottle, is Benita Brazeite. Great. Thank you very much, Mihail. And
Sure.
now we are over to Agle. And before I introduce Agle, our guest from the Canadian Embassy, let me ask if we have any people in this event who do not understand Lithuanian. Can you please say it in the chat? Kągi, Egle, kol neturim atsakymų, manau, kad matau visas pavardės lietuviškas daugmaž, tai tada man labai džiugu pristatyti šiandien Eglę Jurkevičienę, Kanados ambasados Education Canada programų direktorę. Education Canada buvo tikrai labai dosni ir labai gražių įsteigė prizų, kaip visi jaunimas čia varžėsi dėl tų gertuvių. Ir dar kartą parodau visiems tą gražų sirupą. Pati labai irgi mėgstu iš tikrųjų klevų sirupą, kurį būtinai atiduosim laimėtojui mūsų žaidimo Facebook'e. Tai Egle, visada labai svarbu viską žinot apie vizas. Visko žinot turbūt neįmanoma. Ačiū Dievui ir ambasada, kuri mus nukreipia ir pasako, kaip mums gauti tą vizą. Ar iš tikrųjų labai sunku tą studentišką vizą gauti. Tai perduodu žodį.
Labas vakaras. Aš tuo tada dalinuosi ekranu.
Gerai.
Trumpą prezentaciją savo. Matosi?
Dar ne, dar pačią tik matom.
Ne?
Ne, dar kol kas ne.
Tuoj sekundę dar iš naujo tada atjungiu
Gerai,
vėl.
jo, būna tai patogiausia. Va, matom.
Matosi?
Jo, jeigu tik patraukti šitą kraštą, jeigu... Puikiai, viskas.
Žinau, okay. Tai aš truputį labai džiugu, ne viską girdėjau, ne viską klausiau, nes buvau prisijungus taip tuo pačiu metu kitam renginy, bet labai džiugu, kad daug yra klausimų ir jeigu ir ateityje turėtum klausimų, aišku, žinoma, galit kreiptis į Eglę į Amesą arba į Eglę į Kanados ambasadą. Dvi Eglės ir vienas atsakymas. Tai truputį praktinės gal informacijos, jeigu norėtumėt galvoti apie studijas Kanadoje, bet nebūtinai tose mokymo įstaigos, kur aš čia darė pristatymą, tai yra sukurta bendra duomenų bazė pagrindiniams didžiausiams mokymo įstaigoms, kur įvedę paieškos laukelyje, pavyzdžiui, programų, kurią norėtumėt studijuoti arba sritį, jums bus paruoštas sąrašas ar gausite visą sąrašą visų mokymo įstaigų, kurios gali pasiūlyti tą programą. Ir tuo pačiu sužinosite galite ir kainas, ir palyginti kainas, nes kainos skiriasi kiekvienoje provincijoje, kiekvienam universitete. Ir taip pat toj pačioj vienoje vietoje rasite informaciją, kokie pagrindiniai yra reikalavimai. Ir kas yra labai patogu, kad šitoj duomenų bazėje yra tiesioginės nuorodos į pačias mokymo įstaigas, tai nereikia papildomai ieškoti, tiesiog jeigu randat, kas jums įdomu, iškart galite įeiti į tos mokymo įstaigos puslapį. Tai dabar truputį trumpai pasakysiu labai greitai apie studijų leidimą. Studijų leidimą kiekvienam norinčiam studijuoti Kanadoje daugiau negu 6 mėnesius, ta prasme studijuoti pilnu etatu, jeigu galima tai pasakyti, tuomet reikia kreiptis studijų leidimui į Kanados ambasadą. Šiuo metu popierinių anketų nepriimame, dėl COVID viskas yra vykdoma internetu. Ir internetu reikia susikurti savo paskyrą, kurioje rasite anketą, užpildyti reikia anketą, žinoma, reikia susimokėti konsulinį mokestį, kuris yra 150 Kanados dolerių. Pridėti nuskanuotą tapatybę patvirtinantį dokumentą, mūsų atveju tai yra paso kopija. Taip pat turėti ir prisekti mokymo įstaigos patvirtinimą, kad esate priimtas studijuoti. Ir taip pat turėti dokumentą prisekti, kuris parodytų, kad turite pakankamai lėšų studijom Kanadoje. Tai visas šitas, pateikus šitos dokumentus, imigracijos pareigūnai juos peržiūri ir jeigu reikia kažkokių yra papildomų klausimų ar papildomų dar kažkokių paaiškinimų, su jumis susisieks. Taip pat Lietuvos piliečiams dažniausiai vykstantiems į Kanadą ilgiau negu 6 mėnesiam yra prašoma atlikti medicininę apžiūrą, bet vėlgi imigracijos pareigūnai su jumis susisieks, nurodys. Lietuvoje yra 2 įstaigos paskirtos imigracijos tarnybos, kur galima atlikti tą medicininę apžiūrą, tai jums bus nurodyta. Ir dar vienas reikalavimas, kuris yra gana naujas, tai yra reikia pateikti savo biometrinius duomenis. Ir biometrinius duomenis galima artimiausia vieta, kur juos galima pateikti, tai yra Varšuva. Bet vėl imigracijos pareigūnai proceso eigoje jums visą tai informuos, susisieks ir parašys. Šiuo metu prašoma ir rekomenduojama vėlgi nepirkti bilietų, nieko nerezervuotis tol, kol negaunate leidimo studijom. Kadangi tas procesas užtrunka, mes rekomenduojame visada kaip įmanoma greičiau, kai tik gaunate patvirtinimą iš mokymo įstaigos, kad esat priimtas studijuoti, kad iš karto pildytumėte dokumentus vizai gauti, nes šiuo metu bent jau procesas užtrunka apie 3 mėnesius. Kad jeigu reikia medicininės patikrinimo, jeigu biometrinius, tai dėl to susideda tam tikras laiko tarpas. Tai turbūt trumpai tiek, vėl dar sykį pakartosiu, yra duomenų bazė dėl studijų ir pagrindinis puslapis dėl imigracijos tarnybos puslapis, kuriame rasite visą informaciją apie vizas, kaip jas gauti ir kur anketas pildyti, tai yra www.cic.gc.ca. Tai tiek turbūt tam kartu.
Labai ačiū. Kągi, dabar kviečiu užduoti klausimus Egliai, kas jų turi. Aš dar tik tai pati padėsiu, gal tokį esminį klausimą užduosiu. Kiek maždaug trunka laiko, per kiek laiko pasidaryti galima tą vizą, kiek užtrunka praktikoje?
Tas laikas keičiasi priklausomai nuo to, kiek tų pasaulyje yra anketų pateikiama, bet šiuo metu, tikrinau, yra parašyta apie 3 mėnesiai.
Užtrunka, ne?
Taip, kadangi, kaip jau minėjau, jeigu reikia medicininės, tai tas užtrunka, jeigu reikia tuos biometrinius duomenis pateikti, dar savaitę. Ta prasme, kad vis tiek tas nėra vienu metu viską negali atlikti. Yra kiekvienas žingsnis po žingsnio yra peržiūrima anketa.
Tikrai taip. Ir ta studentiška viza, jinai paprastai galioja tiek, kiek turi pasiūlymą iš universiteto.
Taip.
Supratau. Tai jeigu, pavyzdžiui, 4 metam važiuoju studijuoti, tai 4 metam ir vizą gausiu. Ar paprastai metam?
Ne, čia vėlgi priklauso nuo, gali imigracijos pareigūnai įvairiai pažiūrėti. Gali būti, kad išduos metams, bet jeigu jūs turite grįžtat po metų, ar tiesiog po metų norite prasitęsti, toliau studijuoti, tą galima prasitęsti studijų leidimą ir būnant Kanadoje. Bet čia yra imigracijos pareigūno prerogatyva, jie gali nuspręsti, kaip jie nori išduoti. Jie gali iš karto 4 metam duoti, bet gali duoti ir metų.
Turim štai gerą klausimą, Benitos, ar būna atveju, kai viza yra neišduodama? Iš tikrųjų visi žinom, kaip į JAV sunku būna gauti, ar ne tas vizas, tai įdomu, kaip situacija su Kanada.
Būna atveju, žinoma, visada nėra 100% garantijos, kad vizos bus išduodamos, bet vėlgi tai yra imigracijos pareigūnas, jeigu jam kyla kažkokia tai įtarimas, kad studijos nėra pagrindinis tikslas, jeigu žmogus turi kažkokių tai kitų tikslų, atrodo, kad turi kitų tikslų, gali būti viza neišduota. Taip pat viza nebūtų išduota, žinoma, jeigu yra buvęs teistumas dažniausia. Taip kad, o šiaip, jeigu važiuojant studijuoti, tai jos yra išduodamos.
Supratau. O dar tuo pačiu, dar vienas klausimas, o kaip iš tikrųjų atrodo įdomu ta tvarka, jeigu, pavyzdžiui, studentai nuvažiuoja, jie studijuoja ir pagal savo studijų vizą jie turi teisę dar likti dirbti Kanadoje. Tai jie būdami Kanadoje prasitęsia tuos dokumentus?
Taip, yra Kanadoje. Lygiai taip pat, kaip būnant Kanadoje, galima prasitęsti studijų leidimą. Jeigu, sakykime, nenorit grįžti iš Lietuvos aplikuoti vėl iš naujo, galima ten yra paduoti. Lygiai taip pat ir darbo leidimas yra vietoje susitvarkomas. Bet vėlgi šiais laikais, kai viskas vyksta internetu, tai yra tik tais, kaip sakant, tos varnelės uždėjimas kitoje vietoje. Ar aplikuojat iš Kanados, ar aplikuojat iš kitos šalies. Nes visi procesai vyksta internetu.
Tai čia klausimas, ar nuvažiavus studijuoti su studento viza galima dirbti?
Iki 20 valandų galima dirbti, bet vėl už kiekvieni studijų metai Kanadoje suteikia galimybę gauti, kiek metų studijuojat Kanadoje, tiek galite po studijų gauti leidimą dirbti. Tai yra skirtumas tarp Amerikos didžiulis.
Taip, tai jeigu studijuoju 4 metus, tai 4 metus po to galiu ir dirbti legaliai.
Taip.
O Amerikoje paprastai studento viza taip leidžia dirbti tik 1 metus. Klausimas čia kitas dabar, vadinasi, eiliškumas būtų toks: išsilaikyti IELTS egzaminą, pateikti prašymą stoti į universitetą, gavus teigiamą atsakymą, pildyti prašymą vizai gauti, gavus vizą belieka pirkti bilietus skrydžio ir išvykti. Taip, teisingai. Net nežinau, tik tiek atsakant Kasparui Šukevičiui, net nesu tikra, ar tikrai būtinai reikia IELTS, reikia žiūrėti, kokia situacija, tiesiog kiekvienos mokymo įstaigos atvejais gali būti kitoks. dabar yra ir kitokių egzaminų pripažįstamų, ne tik IELTS, ne tik TOEFL, vat minėjo Michailas apie Duolingo, tokį labai patogų, vėlgi kai kurie pripažįsta, kai kurie nereikia. Aš tai sakyčiau, pirmiausia, reikia analizuoti universitetus, peržiūrėti, kur norim studijuoti, kokią specialybę ir kokiam universitete, tada kokie reikalavimai ir tada jūsų išvardintas eiliškumas yra teisingas. Tai galvoju dabar, paprastai universitetuose priėmimas vyksta rugsėjį, dažniausiai galima važiuoti mokytis rugsėjį ir sausį, tai realiai tie, kurie nori važiuoti mokytis rugsėjį, jie jau vėliausiai birželio mėnesį turi pradėti tvarkytis dokumentus vizą gauti, ne?
Taip, tai dažniausiai taip ir būna, kad gegužės pabaigoje pradeda paduoti dokumentus. Bet vėlgi dabar, kadangi viskas vyksta internetu, mes kaip ambasada fiziškai nematom tų dokumentų, nematom tų anketų, tai truputį sunkiau pasakyti apie srautus, bet sakau, aš dabar prisijungiau prieš pat šitą seminarą, kad rodo 3 mėnesiai dokumentų tvarkymo.
Aišku. Tai Eglė, dar kartą, kad užtvirtinti, vis dėlto tų biometrinių duomenų reikės, jos reikės pateikti Varšuvoje, reikės vykti net ir dabar, taip?
Taip, biometrinius duomenis iš tikrųjų galima pateikti yra visam pasaulyje, yra tie vadinami VAC centrai, Kanados vyriausybės ar imigracijos tarnybos akredituoti centrai. Jeigu žmogus aplikuoja gyvendamas, pavyzdžiui, Jungtinėje karalystėje, ten taip pat yra centrai, arba jeigu gyvena kur nors, bet kurioje šalyje, praktiškai labai daugelį šalių tie centrai yra, mums iš Lietuvos jis artimiausias yra Varšuva.
Aišku, gal bus Lietuvoje artimiausiu metu? Neplanuojat?
Nes Varšuva yra regioninis praktiškai visai centrinė rytų Europos.
Aišku, supratau. Dar turim klausimų, tai Eglė lengvai nepaleisim jūsų. Prieš kiek laiko galima vykti į Kanadą prieš mokslus? Turim omeny, jeigu, tarkim, mokslai prasideda nuo rugsėjo, ar ne, vizą pasidaryti galima, kartais ir anksčiau. Tai
Taip, jeigu vizą, sakykime, gaunate teigiamą atsakymą birželio mėnesį, tai skaitykit, viza jau galioja. Vizos galiojimas prasideda nuo tos dienos, kada kertate Kanados sieną.
Tai ne nuo išdavimo,
nuo išdavimo datos, bet kurią kitą dieną nuo išdavimo datos galima važiuoti.
Viskas aišku. Ar vizos... Paklaus kažkas nori. Taip.
Jo, o tai, sakykime, oro uoste negali kabintis pasienio tie pareigūnai, kodėl ten, sakykime, tu gali gal važiuoti, jie traktuos, kad ten prieš 2 savaitės važiuoti, ko tu čia važiuoji anksčiau, o ten jeigu tu atvažiuosi rugpjūčio pradžioj, o jis sakys, ten važiuokit rugsėjo 1, jeigu mokslas prasideda rugsėjo 16.
Imigracijos pareigūnai vėlgi yra toks dalykas, kad bet kuris imigracijos pareigūnas ant sienos turi teisę jūsų paklausti visų šitų klausimų. Vizos turėjimas nėra automatinis, kaip sakant, įleidimas į šalį, bet atvykstant ant sienos visada vyksta pokalbis. Klausimas, kadangi jūs turite studijų leidimą, būtų natūralus klausimas, kodėl jūs atvažiuojate anksčiau. Jeigu jūs atvažiuojate dėl to, kad susirasti būstą, dėl to, kad susirasti, kur gyventi, tai yra labai, ta prasme, normalios priežastys, bet vėlgi jūs gali paklausti, ar jūs turit pakankamai lėšų. Kadangi kiekvienas papildomas savaitės, sakykime, ar mėnesis gyvenant Kanadoje, tai yra papildomos lėšos.
Na ir dar klausimas, ar vizos gavimo tvarka Kvebeko provincijai skiriasi nuo kitų provincijų? Geras klausimas.
Taip, truputį skiriasi, aš sakyčiau, šitas vienas geriausių klausimų, kadangi Kvebeko provincija turi truputį kitus reikalavimus, ten yra prancūzų kalbos ir dokumentai iš principo tie patys, bet turi būti, aš bijau sumeluoti dabar atitikmenys prancūzų kalbos žinių. Ir anketose internetu, jeigu pildot anketą, yra visada klausimas, ar vykstate studijuoti į Kvebeką. Jeigu Kvebeką yra papildomi tam tikri reikalavimai.
Taip. Iš tikrųjų, pavyzdžiui, čia reikėtų pasidomėti tie, kas domisi dėl Kvebeko, pavyzdžiui, prancūzai tai turi Europos prancūzai neturi tarp tokį susitarimą su Kanada, Kvebekos provincija, kad jie netgi mokosi praktiškai 3 kart mažesnę kainą. Tai pat įdomu, jeigu lietuvis važiuoja mokytis į Kvebeką prancūzų kalbą, galima kažkaip tai bandyti rodyti, kad beveik kaip prancūzas, čia sunku pasakyti.
Bet manau, kad jie turi tarp valstybinius, Kvebekas su Prancūzija turi atskirus susitarimus ir Kvebekė truputį tvarka skiriasi kitą.
Taip, turbūt tikrai taip. Dar klausimas Kasparo, nepaisant teistumo, kokie dar kriterijai turi būti nepriekaištingai tvarkant biometrinius duomenis migracijos tarnyboje?
Biometrinis duomenis tai yra tiesiog pirštų antspaudai. Tai yra, ta prasme, čia yra Šiaurės Amerikos šalių reikalavimas dėl keleivių čia po rugsėjo 11 susijęs su terorizmo prevencija, tai biometriniai duomenys tai yra grinai tik tais pirštų antspaudų pridavimas, o paduodant dokumentus vienas iš dažniausiai, kaip pasakyti, daugiausiai keliantis klausimų, tai užtikrinimas, kad turite lėšų gyventi, mokytis, grįžti, draudimą susimokėti.
O jei biometriniai duomenys buvo daryti Amerikoje, tai čia turbūt klausimas, JAF, jeigu buvo daryti, ar reikia dar kartoti?
Vėlgi, aš nesu imigracijos pareigūnas ir nedrįsiu šito komentuoti, kadangi jūs anketą paduodate pradžioje, kaip aš jau minėjau, tik su pagrindinė informacija, tai yra savo užpildant anketą pateikėt paso duomenis ir tuomet kas peržiūri anketas, imigracijos pareigūnai pagal jūsų užpildytą anketą turbūt nusprendžia, ar jums reikia medicininės, ar jums reikia biometrinių duomenų. Bet šito aš kaip nespecialistas, ta prasme, negaliu atsakyti.
Taip, gerai. Tai tam turim tikrai visą procedūrą. Kągi, Eglė, dėkojam labai už atsakymus, labai įdomu, labai naudinga. Dabar žinosim, kur kreiptis. Visos nuorodos buvo jūsų pateiktos skaidrėje. Dėkojam Eglei. O visiems dalyviam dar kartą noriu priminti, kad po šito renginio gausite trumpą tokį flash pasiūlymą, kaip mes jį vadinam, apie mūsų 30 minučių nemokamą konsultaciją apie studijas užsienyje. Tai būtinai pasinaudokite tą galimybę, nes daug žinom, daug jau dirbam su studentais ir mielai su jumis pasidalinsim. Dėkoju visiems dalyvavusiems, dėkoju ir savo puikiai komandai, kurie labai gražiai valdė šitą renginį. Tikiuosi, kad jums neprailgo ir jisai buvo naudingas. Tai ačiū visiems ir iki kitų susitikimų. Gero vakaro.
Ačiū labai.